Yeah. DS walk. Daredevil walk. Signature finish up. Let's go. Mic check. Fade in. Red light on. DS in the chair. New day, same dawn. Got notes in the pad. Got truth on deck. Ask real tight questions. Put respect on the check. We break plays down. Then we break them again. From the huddle to the hustle to the how we would win. You can hear grind talk in the breaths we take. Every story got a scar, every star got weight. It's that signature and finisher talk. Standing every show with DS walk. Daredevil J, bring the flame, no fear. If you came for the real, park right here. It's that signature and finisher talk. Running to the air, we don't never cut it short. Turn the volume up till the doubt disappear. If you came for the real, right here, never drop in. Whole move, switch lanes. Spin facts so sharp, cut straight through games. We don't chase bright noise, we just chase that proof. Put the mic on a mission, let the tape show truth. From the couch to the court, from the block to the board. Every guest got a journey, every play got a score. We just tie threads together, make the picture clear. Got the future in the ear, but talking right in your ear. It's that signature and finisher talk. Standing every show with DS walk. Daredevil J, bring the flame, no fear. If you came for the real, park right here. It's that signature and finisher talk. Run it to the air, we don't never cut it short. Turn the volume up till the doubt disappear. If you came for the real, park right here. Hit record, let it run, let it breathe, don't rush. Every pause, every laugh, every nah mean much. From the first little deal to the last recap. We the start, we the stamp, yeah we close that gap. It's that signature and finisher talk. Standing every show with DS walk. Daredevil J, bring the flame, no fear. If you came for the real, park right here. It's that signature and finisher talk. Run it to the air, we don't never cut it short. Turn the volume up till the doubt disappear. If you came for the real, park right here.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Signatures and Finisher podcast. I'm your host, DS Walk. And joining me today is the man with the master plan on this team, Daredevil J. What's going on?
So I'm the planner of the group?
I say you the man with the master plan, my guy. You the man with the master plan.
We're screwed then.
Rumor has it you up there with Paul Heyman.
Maybe
Hey, but
if you were to say Don, the Corliss family, maybe Don Corliss.
Don Callis?
Callis. Why am I saying Corliss? Callis, Don Callis.
I don't know, man.
I don't know if I'm quite at Paul
Godfather?
Heyman. Yeah, I was thinking Corleone in my head, and I'm like, definitely not at that level, but I don't know. My head's like all over the place.
Yeah, I see. Well, that's because, you got a newborn at home, family coming over. So,
I'll get her to, she'll make an appearance today.
Okay, cool.
Well, I'll make sure she pops up there.
Can't wait. Hey, before we continue, we got to send our condolences out to Vince Russo as he is taking care of his father who is ill. He had to step away from GCW for a time right now. So, Vince, to your dad, get well, man.
As far as
Can't wait to see
wrestling,
you come back.
they're so far in advance on the writing and stuff, it shouldn't actually really affect anything, at least for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, actually, I was watching Coaching Bros, and he had a guest on there, and it was JD from New York. He got a very good podcast, and I enjoy it when I get a chance to watch it. They gave very highly praise to JCW, to Vince Russo, to Insane Clown Posse with the work they're doing, and they think of it as probably one of the top indie wrestling promotions out here, just on their production. It's pretty good. So this is going good for them. And hey, man, no big things for JCW.
Yeah, I mean, just as an example, when Matt Cardona won the JCW heavyweight title was in the beginning of November. They had wrote that in. And by the time that episode aired was the day before he debuted in WWE again. So that was what, two full months?
Yes.
It was like 9 weeks worth of TV that Vince had already written, that they had pre-taped and recorded before all of that happened. So it made it look a little awkward that he wins the title, and then the next day he's on WWE. But they're all parted. Vince Russo's talked about it. He's happy for him. There's no bad blood there. And quite honestly, with the way Cardona's being used, I wouldn't be surprised if he's back on the indie scene in 6 months anyway.
Yeah, that's what happens when you go back to the company that you kind of made a name for yourself, and and they still see you as the same guy when you left before.
I mean, I get it. It's cool he gets to travel with his wife and work the shows with his wife and stuff. But if he went back thinking he was going to be like a heavyweight champ or something in WWE, it's not going to happen.
Nah. But I do feel that he should be in the title picture because I mean Matt Cardona
100% should.
For what you want to say? What the last 5-6 years? Well, yeah, 5-6 years. This guy has made a huge name for himself in the Indies. I mean, this guy reinvented himself. He went from being Zack Ryder woo woo into Matt Cardona, a beast. One of
Indie guy.
Matt Cardona. You know what? I'm gonna go out on the limb. I'm gonna say this, even as an indie guy. Matt Cardona is one of the best wrestlers in the world. What he was doing at that period. I mean, he was everywhere. He was winning titles everywhere. The man reinvented himself. The man changed the way that we looked at him. And to him to go back, yes, I understand you want to be with your wife. You want to be with her 24/7. You want to travel with her. And not only that, you got something to prove because because he feel that he's more than just Zack Ryder. He feel like he's not just a mid-card level guy anymore. He's a main eventer. And right now, he's not being used right. I hope that changes down the road. I think everyone else believe that. Hope that would change down the road because there's a lot of Matt Cardona fans out here. And I just hope WWE sees the potential that he sees in himself and give him an opportunity.
I mean, I hope he gets a shot, but WWE is too crowded.
It is too crowded.
They're bringing in guys right now that they don't have a place for. How are you going to try and promote Obafemi and Royce Keys at the same time?
I don't know, because we haven't seen. Well, hold on. Let's rewind that. We see Obafemi on TV ever since after the Royal Rumble. We haven't seen Royce Keys.
Well, there was the rumor going around that he had gotten fired already, and that's why he wasn't. We all know that that's BS.
Not true.
Fired, no. But yeah, you don't have a spot for him. Why would you waste his debut? Now he had a good showing in the Royal Rumble. He did. But why would you waste that debut when you have no plans for him yet? It was just a waste. And, Triple H was talking about all the surprises at Royal Rumble. There were no surprises. Royce Keys was like your surprise. That was it.
Royce Keys was a surprise. Oba, semi-surprise, but you knew Oba was going to be on the card. I mean, could that mean for crying out loud? I mean, they already showed us who was going to be on the Royal Rumble.
And this is the problem with TKO owning WWE. TKO doesn't understand the wrestling business. We talked about it before. They're used to promoting an event for 6 months. Hey, Daniel Poirier is going to fight Justin Gaethje in June 10th of 2026. When they actually fight, who knows? But if that actually does come around and Poirier comes out of retirement to do the third fight, they advertise it for 5-6 months ahead of time. You're finding promotional material. That's why people don't invest in your shows anymore, because you're seeing promotional material showing Cody versus so-and-so or CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. So CM Punk's not going to lose the title because they're not going to waste all that money in marketing. Vince McMahon used to let things like that happen, and people would be like, well, now we already know so-and-so is going to win. And a lot of times that person would lose. And he would do it to get people to be like, oh, wow, there is a reason. Because they're not going to spend that. TKO is way too cheap to spend that money in promotion, to have all that artwork made and things like that, to then have to go back and change it for somebody new. They're going to be pissed if CM Punk gets hurt or Roman Reigns gets hurt and they have to redo all that. Vince would allow things like that to happen because he'd be like, cool, spend the money, redo it. There's a lot of flaws with TKO owning WWE, and it's not going to get any better.
No, it's going to get worse. And I kind of feel that the element of surprise is just gone from WWE.
It is.
I mean, I didn't need Roman Reigns to come out and say he wants CM Punk, because we all know that Roman Reigns, as right now, he's gone. We want to see him to March. So I do question. Now I do, because I didn't have a problem with Roman Reigns winning, but now I question why you let him win. He's gone up to March. He's gone. Won't be back to sometime in March.
This is my whole thing with part-timers. You can't invest in them. Roman Reigns, if you want to come back and you want to have a program with somebody, cool, we can make that happen. There's no reason to give you any sort of limelight. If he's able to work a part-timer schedule, means he should have built up a fan base big enough that he doesn't need belts. He doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble. Brock Lesnar, perfect example. Brock Lesnar doesn't need to win belts at this point. He shows up, people get interested. Royal Rumble, should he have been knocked out when he was? No, but people were still happy to see him in there. He earned that spot that he can come in. People are still going to get excited. You get the little flashes, the Obafemi stuff. Again, they do not need to have that match for WrestleMania. It's too soon. Oba's got to build more to make it something impactful. That could be one of the biggest matches of all time if you wait a year and let Oba just feed on people. Now, maybe Brock doesn't want to wait that long. Maybe he does want to be retired and just done. And that would be a concern of let's get the match done and over with. But if Brock's willing to say, hey, I'll do this next WrestleMania, spend the next year and a half building Oba into an absolute monster.
Yeah, I don't have faith they can do that.
I don't think they can either. Triple H is terrible.
I don't have faith anymore. And me, he was talking about TKO, and I will say this every show: TKO destroyed wrestling. Mainly, they destroyed WWE. They destroyed WWE because they're money driven, price driven, where wrestling goes up and down. That's what it goes up, it goes down. That's always been wrestling. Even when at the WWE at the highest point, they have some down moments. That's wrestling. When things are not interesting, people are not going to tune in and watch. When things are interesting, they're going to tune in and watch. It's just not WWE. It's AEW. It's JCW. It's MLW. It's all wrestling promotion. That's how it goes. If it's something real good that people want to see, they're going to tune in and they're going to buy those tickets and they're going to be there. If it's something they don't want to see, if it don't make sense, if they don't like it, if they don't want to see Roman Reigns, he's not even a part-time. If they don't want to see Roman Reigns win the title, they're not going to watch it. It doesn't matter who your star is. If they're not interested, they're not going to watch. That's the thing that TKO don't understand about professional wrestling, is that it's not about the money and the glitz. It's not about we got to have our biggest superstar Roman Reigns fighting our next big superstar CM Punk for the title. It's not about that. It's about what are you giving your audience to watch. You're not giving your audience anything to sink their teeth in to watch. You're giving them scraps. You're giving them this and this and this, and they're all just like all these little puzzle pieces, and they don't fit.
Well, and that's the whole thing with having a part-timer in any sort of, back to what I was saying. You don't give Roman Reigns a title match. You don't give him the win at the Royal Rumble because you don't see him. You're not going to see him until maybe Elimination Chamber. You might not see him except for maybe the occasional Raw or SmackDown for a little promo battle again where he could talk about he's the god of wrestling and whatever joke that is. But you're investing way too much time in a part-timer. This is a spot. Gunther should have won. If you got it down to the final two that it was, Gunther should have been the one to win because Gunther, for being your monster heel next to McIntyre, Gunther needs support. You're giving him these career-ending matches, but it doesn't resonate. Everybody knew
it doesn't resonate. It don't even make sense because he's supposed to be right now your biggest heel in the company, not just on Raw, the biggest heel in your company. We talking about this guy before he retired John Cena and AJ Styles. All right, this is the same guy that beat Randy Orton. This is the same guy that beaten Drew McIntyre, Sheamus at the same time.
Gunther looks more credible as the Intercontinental Champion than he does now.
For over 600 days as IC champion. He made the IC champion more important than any other champion in this modern era. I mean, The Miz is a 7-time IC champion. He ain't never had a run like Gunther did with the IC title.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the best worship. That's the best work Triple H has done, is give Gunther the title for 600 days because backstory, Vince McMahon was about to fire him.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon was about to fire Gunther.
Well, because he doesn't like
H came and took over and saved his job.
Yeah. I mean, everybody knows Vince is a size king. He wants the big muscle-bound guys. And before Gunther was Gunther and he was Walter, he was a big fat guy. But Gunther has also talked about that. He idolized the guys in New Japan. I'm drawing blanks on names right now, but the big, heavy, just stocky dudes, that's who he idolized in New Japan. So that's kind of the way he wrestled. That's the way his body was built. Ludwig Kaiser's the one that got him to lose weight. And when he got to NXT, Ludwig Kaiser's like, you got to look like you belong here. Ludwig Kaiser belongs, a lot of the success that Gunther's had is because of Ludwig Kaiser.
Absolutely.
And again, if you're going to get it down, there's no reason Gunther shouldn't have won that. You have Gunther win the Royal Rumble. You have him pummel the hell out of CM Punk a couple different times. Let CM Punk cut his promos, ripping Gunther apart, doing all that stuff. Have Gunther come out, pummel him a few times, and just have him dominate him in a match. Have it be a good match, but for the most part, let it be one-sided. Let it be a dominant win, similar to the way, I won't even say on the same level of the Brock Lesnar-John Cena thing, but have him have a dominant win to win the belt. That would make him credible, because all these retirement matches, nobody cares. because they know their careers are over anyway.
Yeah, it's not that their career's over. It's that we know their contract is coming up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, hey, there's someone's
Well, I mean, for like
contract coming up.
AJ and John Cena, like they're done.
Yeah. I mean, like, your contract coming up. Okay, we're gonna throw Gunther at you. At least when Randy Orton did the Legend Killer thing, he beat the Undertaker. Undertaker was still active.
Yeah, it's like if they're gonna try and make this into an Undertaker thing, where it's like this is what Gunther's known for, is he retires everybody. Like nobody's gonna care.
No, nobody's not going. People don't care already.
Think of right now anybody that could be on the precipice of legitimately calling it a career. Who do you have left? Randy Orton, The Miz.
You just said Brock Lesnar.
Brock. That's basically your list right there.
Yeah.
Does anybody care if Gunther wrestles Jimmy Uso?
No. You can throw in R-Truth, but that's it. And we already seen that match.
Yeah.
Look, it goes back to TKO don't understand their fan base, and they don't understand how wrestling operates. Clearly, we see that. And it is also, the rumor has I guess you can call it a rumor, but everyone's predicting that Triple H will be fired before the end of this year.
Oh, yeah, I've said it.
Yeah,
that's why he's pushing all this stuff of how is it we're this close to WrestleMania and the only person still announced for the Hall of Fame is Stephanie McMahon? Like, don't get me wrong. Stephanie's done a lot of things on the backside of professional wrestling as the ambassador, things like that. But on screen-wise, the things that you're most known for is The Rock making fun of you sexually and Chris Jericho making fun of you sexually. That's it.
And your dad selling you to The Undertaker.
Yeah. The whole corporate ministry thing. Like, she didn't have a notable wrestling career. She didn't do anything notable in the ring. She was the subject of ridicule for The Rock and Jericho.
Yeah. Now, outside of the wrestling ring, she did a lot of good work.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff.
WWE. And look, if we want everybody to keep it 100, keep it a buck, Stephanie was the reason why this company kept going through the dark days when her father was going through what he was going through. It's just that it's only so much that woman could take. Now, has WWE suffered since she stepped down? Yes, they have.
They got rid of her the second Vince wanted to come back to sell the company. What was the first thing that happened? Stephanie stepped down as the CEO. Vince came right back in, sold the company.
Yeah, but
and that's not me to discredit anything because I'm a huge Stephanie McMahon fan. But from a wrestling perspective, her impact on wrestling inside of the ring was very small. Outside of the ring, it's huge. And if they want to acknowledge that, but I guarantee they're going to make that a small portion of her induction of what she did outside of the ring as far as the corporate image and things like that. And they're going to talk about the Triple H love angle of when they got together with China and all that kind of stuff. They're going to make it all about that. That was such a small part of anything that she's done. And again, how is she still the only person that you've brought up to mention for the Hall of Fame so far? The last thing I saw is they might put the Hardy Boys in there. And it's like, you can't have them come out of another company to go in there. I don't care if you have a relationship with them or not. Like, wait until they're done. It's not that much farther at this point.
Right. And not only that, it's a small list of people that you can choose from, go to the Hall of Fame. Look, I'm still waiting on Demolition to go in.
It is surprising that they haven't gone in because they were such a prominent. I mean, they only had the belts like 3 times, but they had them for extended periods of time.
Yeah, very long time. All they 3 reigns as tag team champions was over a year.
Yeah, it hurts them because the Legion of Doom came around because they were basically the WWF's answer to the Road Warriors. And then when the Road Warriors actually came in as the Legion of Doom, it's kind of like, well, let's get rid of Axe and Smash now because we've got the real guys here. But there's so many guys that could go in right now. Like, how are the natural disasters in the Hall of Fame before the demolition?
We got to ask Uncle Fred that question.
Let's talk to our buddy Raheem. Let's see what Raheem has to say. What do you want to talk about? Let's ask Uncle Raheem.
All right. What I want to talk about. Well, before we get to what we really want to talk about, I do have a question for everybody who's watching and who's going to watch it later. If you can book your fantasy WrestleMania, whether from the past, present, or future wrestlers, if you can book your WrestleMania, what will your matches be? Please put it in the comment section. Me and Double J will respond. And I already know he's already thinking who his WrestleMania matches he can book. He'll do.
Well, I already got the first person. It's right off the top of the head. Like, I don't have to think it's Macho Man.
Again?
Macho Man. And that's kind of, I would want it to be somebody current. To get the best of both worlds. Somebody old, somebody new. Realistically, I would probably say, I love Ilya Dragunov. I would say either Ilya Dragunov or Cody would be a great one. And that takes a lot for me to say because, I'm not a big Cody Rhodes fan. But I think Cody Rhodes, Macho Man would be pretty spot on. Like you'd be talking close to like Macho Man Steamboat level match right.
Mine's, I'm glad you say Ricky Steamboat. Mine's would be Ricky Steamboat versus AJ Styles.
Another one, if I was to go with bigger dudes, Sid Justice, Sid Vicious, call him what you want. I love Sid Vicious. Too good. Sid Vicious versus Gunther, I think, would be just great.
I would like to see Vader versus Brock Lesnar.
Vader Lesnar would be really good. That would be really, really good.
Yeah, two former athletes at the highest level.
Mm-hmm.
Football players. Yeah, I like to see that.
I'll do one more. There's just no good tag teams now. Like, I was like, let me do a tag team one. I'm like, there's nobody now that I would really even want to see. I mean, if you were to go back to it, the Hardy Boys in their prime, Hardy's in their prime versus the Legion of Doom would be fun, just because of the Legion of Doom being able to throw them around the way that they can, or the Hardy Boys versus the Steiners.
I would like to see. I don't know how good it'll be, but I think it'll be vastly entertaining. I like to see the Hart Foundation versus Christian Edge.
That would be a good one. Had to take place in Montreal. You'd have an all Canada match. Toronto or Montreal, I'd be okay with. They would say Calgary probably, but you know.
I would like to see Harlem Heat versus the Street Profits.
That would be a good one. I was thinking about Harlem Heat a couple days ago. I'm like, we always talk about like nobody does any of the good old moves. Nobody does the Harlem Hangover
better than the Harlem Heat.
Well, just nobody does it.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's so good. How does nobody do it? And you've got Booker T there in NXT. Like, just ask him. Just ask him.
Hey, how you do the Harlem Hangover?
Front flip leg drop. Just go. It's not hard.
I got one more. And I think it'd be one of those matches where it'll just be, yep, it's just one of those matches. And it's the two people you don't like, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I should say you're not a big fan of.
Who's that?
Scott Steiner versus Braun Breaker.
I love Scott Steiner. I don't like Braun Breaker.
What I mean is the love language would be the same.
I kind of have to pick a women's one, which right off the top of the head, it's just Io Sky. Io Sky can wrestle anybody. Io Sky, I mean, there really weren't a whole lot of women's wrestlers back in the 90s in the WWE. It was basically Alundra Blaze before she went to WCW. And Bull. I think China Io Sky would be fun. I think that would have been a good one. Or if we were to go Io Sky, Gail Kim, I think would have been really good. Or Mickie James. Basically Io Sky versus any of that group. But Gail Kim, Io Sky, I think would have been.
I can't think of one. Because the only one I could think of would be Alundra Blaze, the Fabulous Moolah.
She was too old at that point, unless you're going way back. Mae Young, same thing.
Mae Young, yeah, you know. So I'm going to go with the female version of Hulk Hogan, Alundra Blaze, against this modern day Hulk Hogan, Becky Lynch.
I was also thinking about that earlier. If there's two people I don't ever want to see in a wrestling ring again, it would be Jey Uso and Becky Lynch. Jey Uso is just a constant botch. Go back and just watch 2025. Watch his matches in 2025. He has at least 2 botches a match. And like they're noticeably bad. Go back to that CM Punk Jey Uso match. That's one of the worst matches in history. Becky Lynch, like, she doesn't even try anymore. She doesn't even make it try to look believable when she's out in the ring anymore. Yeah, those are the two people I can't stand in the ring at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jimmy's better than Jay by far. Like, Jay's as bad as Tonga Loa when it comes to botching.
And there you have it. So if you have your own, please put it in the comment section. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, so please put it in the comment section. And we would like to know. Before we continue, you got an apology.
Yeah. So it turns out that my ex did watch our show. And she was mad at me that I said that she didn't allow me to have posters up in my locker, which I don't remember having Alyssa Milano, but she clearly remembered that I had Alyssa Milano pictures and Sporty Spice pictures, which I don't recall the Alyssa Milano ones, but I'm sure that knowing me, I definitely had Sporty Spice pictures because I love me some Sporty Spice.
Yeah,
still do.
I seen the Spice Girl picture poster in your bedroom back in the day.
Oh yeah, I had a bunch of Spice Girl pictures. Not gonna hide that at all. But yeah, she was mad at me. So I told her I would give her a formal apology. So I'm sorry. I don't remember having Alyssa Milano ones. I do remember you had a Steve Austin one in my locker. But yeah, so there's that. Apparently I did have some. I didn't deny about all the ones that I had in my bedroom because like I even had them on my ceiling. But
all right, well, hopefully she heard this and she'll give us a response. So I want to talk about this big old controversy in AEW, or just in wrestling in general, because it happened in AEW, but it's a wrestling thing. So there's a story that was out there about Brody King. He wore a shirt that says abolish ICE. I don't know when he wore that shirt, so I'm not going to sit here and say he wore it last week. I don't know when.
I think it was 2 weeks ago, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Right. So the crowd picked up on it and started chanting "F ICE." I was on the February 4th edition of A&W Dynamite, and they did it again. And they in Australia, because they had Grand Slam Australia on Saturday, yesterday, the crowd chanted "Fu ICE." Now, the controversy comes from other than that was that Brody King wasn't seen on TV this past Wednesday, and people thought that he got pulled from the show. But in reality, he was traveling to Australia, so he didn't get pulled from the show. Dynamite, he was traveling to Australia. He had a match with MJF over there, and people was conspiracy theories. Everybody was saying a whole bunch of everything, including Dave Meltzer, who blamed WB, said they're the one who did this, and I think Dave Meltzer irked some people. So I'm gonna read this, but you got something to say before I read it.
Oh, I was going to say he definitely irked WB because WB came out and made a formal statement saying they had nothing to do with anything about it.
Yes. So here it is. Brody King was asking for AEW Dynamite, prompting false reports from newsletter reporter Dave Meltzer, who blamed the absence on WB. This was not a Tony Khan cause, said Meltzer. Last week on AEW Dynamite, fans chanted F ICE ahead of King's non-title match against MJF. King prevailed in the dominant squash. King earned a world title shot against MJF this past Saturday at AEW Grand Slam Australia, which aired at 5 p.m. I seen some of that match, and it looked nice. Because Dave Meltzer ruffled some feathers over there, Warner Bros. Discovery is finally speaking out. They said that the overseas AEW programming across TNT and TBS is denying claims that WB executive pulled Brody King from the AEW Dynamite in fear of anti-ICE chants. Warner Bros. Discovery did not have any involvement in Brody King's upcoming AEW schedule. The WB executive in a statement sent to me, any speculation to the contrary is category false. Brody is scheduled to appear during the next AEW event, which will air this Saturday on TNT and on HBO Max. There you have it.
I mean, did somebody maybe talk to Brody and say, hey, tone it down, something like that? I could definitely see that happening. But if you know what Brody King's like outside of the ring, this is on par for Brody King. That's just who he is.
Yeah. And look, it goes in more detail. Brody King once famously donned a t-shirt that read abolish ICE. In 2026, America is tribalized by everything from Bad Bunny to smartphone allegiances, but ICE has been among the most tribal issues of the day. Recently, deadly incidents in Minnesota involving ICE have led to worldwide protests and congressional hearings. And it goes to say that King's absence on the Go Home show for AEW Grand Slam Australia raised a lot of eyebrows since he would be competing for the AEW World Championship this Saturday in Sydney. And man, I know that MJF wasn't on the show either.
People just love to take any little thing that they can and run with it to have something to talk about. I mean, we should probably do the same thing. But then each of our shows would be like 6 hours long, just talking about nothing.
Yeah. So you know who else who doesn't like ICE? Heyman Adam Page. And both guys, if you go on their social media accounts or you just ask these guys personally, they don't like what's going on in this world involving ICE, president, anything. And I commend Tony for letting his guys and gals speak their minds. Because, you really don't want to silence a voice at all, period. I understand, hey, these guys should not bring in the real world into wrestling. But you know what? It's happening everywhere. I mean, if you look at any sport, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, and wrestling, everybody is bringing their personal feelings about ICE, everything that's going on in this world, into their business. And with Brody King, it was kind of funny to me is that it got this much attention from everybody. I mean, every news outlet, every news magazine is picking this up.
Well, it got attention because Meltzer ran his mouth saying that WB. That's the only reason it got any traction, is because you named the network in there. If he wouldn't have said anything about WB, nobody would be talking about this at all.
Right. And for future reference for everybody, be careful of listening to Dave Meltzer because he's accurate, all right, accurately wrong. A lot.
Meltzer's made his entire career. Like, if you stop reading his newsletter and paying for his newsletter, he doesn't have a career. So while he does say some things and some things he says make sense, he is paid to just throw BS out there because he needs clicks for people to actually pay to read his stuff. So he will throw things out there, and to say that he probably knows a lot of what he puts out there isn't true, he still does it for clicks to get people to pay him. So yes, you definitely have to watch with Meltzer.
Yeah.
If you want to get scoops on stuff, you're better off looking at Sean Ross Sapp. You're better at Chris Van Vliet. Those guys take the time to do stuff right. Meltzer and his crew, they just throw things out there, and they do hit on some stuff. If you talk enough, you're going to be right about something.
So, but this is also going to be the bad part because we already know WB, Warner Bros. Discovery, and Netflix are in negotiation. We know Netflix is trying to buy Warner Bros. Discovery, and I'm quite sure that Netflix don't want no bad publicity or anyone voicing their opinion against anything Donald Trump does. Because we know the owner of Netflix, is very chummy with Donald Trump. And you kind of want this to go to smooth transition. So this is what looks bad for AEW and Brody King because Netflix has the WWE. Netflix probably not going to want AEW because AEW don't draw the money, the ratings that, listen, the WWE ain't doing too well, but at least Netflix in bed with them until, I don't know, for the next 3-4 years, and they're going to probably get rid of WWE. But the thing is that AEW is not drawing interest, not making the money that you would think for a wrestling promotion would make. They cater to a certain amount of fans. They don't have a big, huge following. And you have a wrestler who's out here talking about abolish ICE, wearing a t-shirt, abolish ICE. That's going to look bad. Because at any time this deal can go through, if Netflix don't want Brody King, Tony Khan will have to get rid of Brody King.
I don't think Netflix is going to get too involved. I think they're honestly, the deal still has to go through, first off.
Yes.
And Paramount's not giving up anytime soon. It's been a little quiet lately, but they're still not giving up.
Well, Paramount getting that money back together. That's what they doing.
Yeah. If anything, I mean, Netflix would probably just let AEW's deal run when the contract's up, letting them know ahead of time, hey, we're not renewing you. Get your ducks in a row. Go find somewhere else to go. And just let it play out. And as long as AEW doesn't go too wild with anything, they're probably not going to hear from Netflix too much.
I don't want this to hurt Brody King in the long run because Brody King's a hell of a wrestler. Right? And I like the fact that the way he's been performing as a single wrestler, man, it's kind of like where this been all this time. And I don't want that to hurt him for his future earnings. Or if that time comes where if, Brody King has to leave AEW because of this, I don't want that to look bad on him. I don't want that to hurt him.
I mean, Brody King has been an outspoken person long enough. I think he's smart enough to know at this point, my background disappeared, that anything that he says, he's got to take responsibility and account for. If he hasn't learned that by now, he's probably going to learn a pretty hard lesson in a very near future. But I'm pretty sure he's well aware of if he says something at this point, he's got to own up to it, and it's probably going to hurt him in the long run. So if he still wants to say it, go ahead. Is what he's saying wrong? No, it's his opinion. He's also got to understand other people are going to have other opinions, and they might say something differently.
Yes, and unfortunately, that's what I worry about. I support everyone's, whether it's right or wrong. You have your opinion. I refuse to criticize anybody who had their opinions. That's your opinion. That's what you believe in. That's fine. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. That's fine. I respect that. Respect mine. But we live in a day and age where if you give an opinion and someone don't like it, you're going to get ridiculed. We live in a day and age where if you give an opinion someone don't like, man, it's like it's like your opinion. It's like they take.
Well, the First Amendment gives you the ability to say it.
Right.
It also gives people the ability to say something back.
Yeah.
And you also have to understand that some people are going to take action against what you say. Like, again, you can't threaten to kill the president and hide behind the First Amendment. There's still repercussions for what you say. You could say it, true, but you got to be able to own up to what you say and claim responsibility for it too.
Yeah, and like we said, Brody King always, he seems, I don't know him, but he seems like the type of guy who will own his. He's not going to run from anything he says if he believes in his heart. That's what he believes. That's, again, like I say, I just don't want this to cost him. And Heyman on the page have also been critical and outspoken by ICE, but not as much as Brody King.
Well, I think a lot of it, people take everything to the extreme. The whole abolish ICE, this and that. You could say it. It might sound cool. Your friend says it, so you want to say it, whatever. At the end of the day, Nobody wants to see Ice disappear because you have no idea the repercussions that would happen if Ice disappeared. At the end of the day, there's a right way to do things, there's a wrong way to do things. Is the way Ice is doing things necessarily the right way to do it? No. I don't think anybody would really want to fight that of saying, oh, they're handling it the way they need to. No, there's plenty of proper ways. I think it was in 2012, Obama had deported like 800,000 people, I think it was, compared to like the 200 some thousand that Trump did last year. But again, you didn't hear about it because there's a right way to do things. There's a wrong way to do things. Showing up in unmarked vehicles with 10 people hopping out with masks on, jumping people in the streets, probably not the best way to do things. Again, right way to do things, wrong way to do things. And I think that's more about what the whole abolish, just like the whole defund the police. If anybody really meant defund the police, do you know what kind of chaos the world would be in? Like, you could say things because you think they're cool, but realistically, you don't even make sense, which means your opinion basically doesn't hold any weight.
Yeah. So I'm gonna find it interesting. I'm gonna pay attention to AEW because I want to see what's gonna happen with Brody King from here on out. And will he be on this first show of Dynamite? If he's on there or not, I'm not gonna be upset about it because Tony Khan always books differently than most bookers. So,
well, I think if anything, it might force Tony Khan's hand to make Brody King win, because if he doesn't win, even if that was the plan from the start, people are going to jump on that bandwagon of, oh, well, he didn't win the world title, blah, 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 or he lost his push because he wore that shirt and people got upset. This might force Tony to make Brody win.
Yeah. Well, he did not win the title. He lost to
not
MJF.
right now, but that doesn't mean that the next pay-per-view.
Yeah. So hopefully he'll keep his push and keep his momentum going.
I think he will, because it's not like he said it out loud. He wore a shirt. Sure, some people would say it's the same thing, but it's not like he was getting on the microphone on a hot mic during a live taping or something like that saying it. Like, it is what it, and that's, if you look at his history, if you followed Brody King before he got to AEW, this is very much in line of who he is. Like, that's
pretty much
just him. So
yeah, pretty much.
It's one of those things of, if you're signing Brody King, you should probably have an idea of what you're signing, which tells me that Tony Khan doesn't have a problem with it. And if Warner Brothers took the time to respond to something that Dave Meltzer wrote, it means they're taking it serious too, to let people know that they don't care either.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So with that, we're going to move on. Actually, we're going to finish up the WrestleMania situation, the WWE card, because it came out that Bianca will not be in the Elimination Chamber and she won't be at WrestleMania. So along those lines, we was talking about how they scrambling for the card, what they're going to do. They're really scrambling because now your biggest women wrestler will not be on the card. Now, she might make an appearance at WrestleMania, but she won't have a match at WrestleMania. It's a good chance she might make an appearance.
At this point, they're running in danger of losing any momentum that she's ever built up. They have to get her involved somehow at WrestleMania, whether she shows up to interfere in a match, shows up as somebody's like honorary manager, valet for the night, or something. They've got to get her back on TV. The sooner the better. Even if she can't full on wrestle right now, they've got to get her on TV.
They have to if they want to save face. Because let's be honest here. If me and you, we love them. We like the women division. We high on the wrestlers.
Better than the men's.
Yeah, we high on the women wrestling. We think that their potential to put on a great show at WrestleMania is still high. But it takes a hit when you don't have Bianca Belair. Yeah, and I know everybody wants to see, because this goes involved in this, everybody want to see Jade versus Bianca at WrestleMania. Now we're not getting that. So this is going to force Triple H and his creative team to do the one thing that you said that you want them to do. And I heard this on Coaching Bros, is that they're going to have to use the Elimination Chamber and somehow get a match between Io and Rhea. You have no Bianca. They still decided who's going to fight Jay. Is it going to be Charlotte Flair, or is it going to be Tiffany Stratton? We don't know. And a lot of people don't want to see her, Tiffany, no more, because that was a match full of botches on Jay's part and Tiffany's part. They are in this conundrum where they have no choice. Get Io versus Rhea, because that's a built-in story itself. Rhea never beat Io. Rhea wants to be back in the main event scene. She wants to be champion. And to her to get over that hump and not beating Io, she has to challenge Io and beat her. You got nothing for me, huh?
No, I'm just thinking about it. I'm perfectly content with Rhea never beating Io. I think it actually works out great.
That's bias on your part.
It is, because Io's the best women's
She's
wrestler of
great.
all time. It's just the more I see Rhea wrestle, the less I like her. It seems like she's just getting worse.
It's not that she's getting worse. It's just
I know
that
she's not. It just feels like I'm watching her get worse in the ring.
It's just that I just think that Rhea doesn't belong in the tag team division. I get it where WWE coming from. You want to build up your younger female wrestlers. You want to get Stephanie an opportunity to good run the title. You built up Tiffany Stratton. You want to build up Roxanne Perez. You want Liv to have the moment. You building up what's her name? Raquel Gonzalez.
But this is the thing. This is when you go back to the CM Punk Roman Reigns promo from last Monday. CM Punk made a good point of it's not how long you have it, it's how good you did it.
You're right.
Stephanie's already had a pretty good run with the belt right now. She's had a bunch of defenses, had a couple different angles going. They need to do something with her. And there's no reason that Rhea couldn't wrestle Stephanie and still be in a tag team. You could build up an envy angle if you wanted to and make Io the bad guy, which I think is a bad move. Rhea needs to be the aggressor, needs to be the heel in that. But either way, you could do the reverse and have what's supposed to be a throwaway match of just a spontaneous, Stephanie's going to defend versus Io, and Io wins on a Monday Night Raw, and then Rhea gets jealous. That breaks up the tag team. Now they're wrestling each other, blah, blah, blah. You could do all those different things, but you can do something with Stephanie. Stephanie doesn't have to have the belt right now. Again, look at Jade Cargill's over 100 days. I think she's coming up on like 120 days and just had her first title defense.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. If there was ever a story of, hey, we're giving you a belt just to appease you, like, she can't go. You don't have any plans for her. You don't believe in her abilities in the ring, which I don't blame you for that. Move on from her. Go have Rhea go out and pull a Brock Lesnar and just squash her. I mean, you would have said that you would say that John Cena shouldn't get squashed by Brock Lesnar. Rhea's about the same size as Jade. Why can't Rhea just go out and squash her? You're calling all these audibles and all these pivots anyway. Go do something random. Have Rhea show up on SmackDown, beat the hell out of Jade, take the title, done. You've eliminated the Jade Cargill problem. Go let her sit at home for a couple weeks while you figure it out. Rhea's got the title. She's back in the main event picture. You could still use them as a tag team. I mean, Chelsea Green had 2 titles for, 3 months?
She
2
did.
months? 3 months?
She did.
There's no rule that said you can't be a tag team champ and heavyweight champ at the same time. So if they're that desperate to put the title on it, just go do it. There is no brand. There's no SmackDown brand and Raw brand. You move Sami Zayn over out of convenience. You move people over sporadically out of convenience whenever you want. Just have Rhea go over there and stomp the shit out of her in a match. Call it a wrap.
It's just funny how she's your biggest female superstar and she's one of your highest merch seller in the company. And you can be all concerned and say, well, they got her in the tag team division. They're not doing nothing with her. Well, she's tag team with Io Sky. They got nothing for Io Sky.
Yeah, and that's all by their own design.
Right. The reason why I say that is because all she really doing, I'm talking about Rhea, is playing a supporting cast where she is there for Io because Io and Asuka got beef.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually that's going to lead to a one-on-one match between Io versus Asuka probably on WrestleMania. And again, because it's not going to be on Raw or SmackDown, so it kind of makes sense to have these two fight it out at WrestleMania. And you just have Rhea there just to be there for backup. But that's not Rhea. How can you build this woman up as much as you did? Married the most popular female wrestler, the top female wrestler in your company next to Bianca, and you put her in the tag team and you have nothing for her.
I already gave you the answer. I already gave you the answer weeks ago. You bring in, it's like they're trying to force another set of women's tag team titles. You don't have enough women's tag teams to do it with. And you're slapping all these women together in these fake tag teams that don't really have any coherence to anything. Quite honestly, you don't have enough women to have a tag team division to begin with. Just scrap the whole thing. It's not necessary. You brought out 2 more singles titles. You should be focusing on those. It'd be one thing if you had too many women and not enough belts. You just added 2 more women's belts last year. Like, you don't have to have women's tag titles. If anything, you should go back and look at AAA, like I said before, bring out a mixed tag title. You know who should be your inaugural champs? The Terror Twins. You put Damian Priest back with Rhea Ripley, let them be heels like they were setting up in the Judgment Day, and just let them run crazy. Then you'd have no problem if Rhea becomes the women's champ. So be it. She walks around with 2 titles. It works.
Chelsea, like you said, Chelsea did it for 3 months. And not only that, you saw 2 problems with 1 solution. Because you did have plans for Damian Priest when you moved on, when you broke him and Rhea up to go to SmackDown. You had major plans for him.
Yeah. You put him in an extended feud with Drew McIntyre. You
And
put him
where
in
did
an
that go
extended
from?
feud with Aleister Black.
And that's a Black thing. I can whatever. But you put him in a good feud with Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
Drew went over, and now he's champion.
No,
doing some
Damian
meaningful
went
stuff.
over. Damian went over.
You sure? Because it looked like Drew came out the better
Well,
end in that one.
Of course. Well, that's what I'm saying is like Drew went from losing every feud he was in to now being the heavyweight champ. He technically lost the CM Punk feud, went right into the Damian Priest feud, lost that one, to go into the Cody feud, and he's currently won that one. How that really makes sense, don't know. That's why I say they need to at least keep some sort of records as far as like wins and losses like AEW to make the shit make sense. Because again, AEW or WWE booking just doesn't make any sense.
No,
How
it
you can
doesn't
keep
make
losing
sense.
to suddenly be the champ, don't get me wrong. Drew McIntyre deserves it. I love Drew McIntyre. But if you just look at it from a record perspective, he had no business fighting Cody.
No. And Damian Priest has no business being where he had floundering and beating Aleister Black until now he has nothing. He went from beating he went from being in Judgment Day to being out on Judgment Day, beating up on his kid brother, Dominic Mysterio. The best feud other than Drew McIntyre he had, and I really kind of didn't enjoy it because it didn't make sense to me, it still don't make sense to me, was he was fighting Finn Balor. And I didn't want to see that. I kind of felt that if you was going to break up the Judgment Day, those 2 guys should have left together.
Yeah, and for Damian Priest, I don't know how much longer he's got to go because he's not as young as people think he is.
He's not as young, and he's very banged up.
And he wrestled as a big dude for a long time. Like,
Yeah.
he wasn't the size that he is now. He was a big dude for a long time when he was
Yeah,
wrestling.
well, he's down to NXT. He was bigger than he was in NXT than he is right now.
Well, I mean, even before he got to NXT, like, he was a big dude. Like,
yeah,
he was carrying
Damian Priest is every bit in his 40s.
Yeah, I think he's 43. I think he's a little bit older than I am.
Yeah, he's in his 40s. So you know what? If you want to go by AJ Styles and CM Punk, you got another 5 more years.
Doesn't mean.
But actually, you want to stretch that because he's a big guy. You might say he might got another 2 to 3 more years.
But at the same time, that let's say he does have 5 years, doesn't mean he's going to be at the top of the card. Like, I thought they had big plans for him when he won the world title. Like, they were parading him around, you know, Puerto Rican heavyweight superstar, blah, 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 blah. And he was doing the interviews, and I was happy for him. And then they pulled the title from him. Now they're doing the same thing with Stephanie Bacher because now it's the first women's champion, you know, Chilean champion, this and that. And they're basically doing everything that they should have been doing for Damian Priest, but they're doing it for Stephanie.
All right, before you continue, Damian Priest is 43 years old.
Ah, look at me. I was right. I thought he was a little bit older than I am. Again, he's still got a number of years, but don't know how banged up his body is either. Like, he's done interviews where they said WWE's limited his matches because he's so banged up, because he keeps wrestling through. He won't take the time off to get him healed. Because a couple of them, the last thing that I was reading when he was doing an interview, he has a couple injuries that need surgery, and he just won't get surgery because he's going to have to take extended time off, and he doesn't want to do it. Well, at some point, those nagging injuries become very serious, and then they're going to put you on the shelf whether you want it to be or not.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, you want a good prime example? Yeah, someone you're not a big fan of, Kevin Nash. If you want to see a big guy who's dealt with a lot of injuries, and Kevin Nash is a good example.
Mm-hmm.
I just look, you know me, I just want to see guys get used right. I don't want to see guys and gals go out here, put on a good show and credible stories. Now, with the Jade situation, which is kind of bummed because, you know, again, not getting that match with Bianca at WrestleMania, it hurts her more.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts her more. It hurts her character more than anybody that we talked about. But if they choose to go the route of Charlotte Flair and Jade Cargill, the WWE is kind of saving face. Because again, you put in Jade in the ring with someone who's a veteran, who has experience, who can lead the way. Listen, there are going to be some botches. At this point in time, you just got to accept it. And it's just not Jade.
I think with the pivot it's looking like it's going to become Jade and Becky Lynch.
Well, Becky might not be fighting Jade. It looks like it'd be AJ Lee.
Again, the whole part-timer thing, like, no, I don't.
They're going to have a match at the Elimination Chamber, and it looks like they're also going to have a match at WrestleMania.
Nobody needs to see that twice. If her last two matches, the last two times that she was in the ring, were any indication of how she's going to progress, nobody ever needs to watch AJ Lee wrestle again.
Well,
she's
going to be in a singles match, so I guess we really would get a good idea of how far along how she has came since last time she was in the ring as a single wrestler.
AJ, who can't wrestle anymore, and Becky, who doesn't know how to sell anymore. That should be spectacular TV.
Hey, 5-star rating, my guy. So if anybody who has against them want to see Charlotte against Jade, I want to see it. I think it'd be good for Jade.
Jade has to lose, though. She has to lose.
Well, it kind of really, it depends, man. Honest God, and I say that it depends on.
They need to call it a wrap on this run. She'd be better off losing the title
and
taking some time and then getting the title back with a whole fresh run. Because at this point, nobody gives anything about what she's doing with the belt right now. You've had one title defense in 100 and some days.
Right. See, this is where the WWE put themselves in a bad position when it comes to the women's, because let's say if Charlotte wins, right, you got Tiffany. And let's say Jade wins, you got Tiffany. They put themselves in this situation where regardless who wins, Tiffany Stratton's going to be the next one in line. And they can throw that angle where with Tiffany, she never got her rematch.
Mm-hmm.
But the other side of it, we don't want to see Tiffany and Charlotte. We've seen that bad for a fiasco. We really don't want to see Tiffany and Jade because we see how bad that is.
Well, realistically, Tiffany would probably move over to Raw anyway. Because there's nothing left for her on SmackDown. If they were smart, they would move her anyway.
There is one match that I would love to see. Quite sure a lot of people would see too. But again, we don't know when is she going to step in the ring and wrestle. I'd love to see Bianca versus Tiffany. That's a WrestleMania quality match.
Yeah, but again, you could move Bianca. If I had to guess, they're probably going to bring her back with the Street Profits, which means they're going to.
Honestly, yeah, I'll boot on 3 to Raw because there's really nothing on SmackDown for Bianca or the Street Profits.
I mean, they just need to acknowledge and come out and say, look, if you're on SmackDown, sucks to suck. That's just where you're at because we don't think you're good enough to be on Raw.
Well,
WWE just needs to formally come out and say it because that's the way they treat it. If you're on SmackDown, you're just in the place of, we got nothing for you. It doesn't matter if you have a belt or not. You're just kind of there. If you're Jade, you just don't wrestle. If you're Carmelo, we don't want to put any thought into you, so just go do this U.S. Open challenge for like the next 3 months and kill off a bunch of time for us. Like, that's all SmackDown is just, hey, you're on the roster, we're paying you money, so we got to use you. Just go hang out in SmackDown for a while.
Yeah, that might be the reason why they may have all these meetings because they don't treat SmackDown the way it should be treated. And I go back, I said when I say it again, your main titles are on SmackDown and you not doing anything with your main titles in the company on SmackDown.
Hey,
you're not.
They're paying that AI guy a lot of money for him to come up with all these AI storylines about Keith Lee being a giant anime fan working in AEW for WWE. Remember this.
Hey,
it was Keith Lee, wasn't it? No, it was Bobby Lashley.
Bobby
Lashley, not Keith Lee.
Yeah, and all this time I thought it was just Michael P.S. Hayes or Road Dogg. They paying all this money to come up with these ideas.
You want to talk about somebody that needs to be fired? I talked about it on one of the shows a few weeks ago, but fire Michael Hayes, like with prejudice. Just call him up and just be like, the second that came out for the Unreal trailer, you just call him up. You don't give him the face-to-face. You call him up and just say, don't ever report back again. You're done. To go and do an interview, that's stupid. When you know you're being recorded for the purposes of a fake documentary TV show, and you're going to bury one of your own talent by saying, oh, well, she's a mid-level person. She knows her job is to make everybody else look. Chelsea Green is one of the most entertaining women's wrestlers you have from a character standpoint and in the ring standpoint. Go back to Money in the Bank. What was it? Money in the Bank 2024? She's the one that took all the big bumps in the match. She was the entertaining part of that match where Tiffany won. Tiffany won, but Chelsea was the star of the match.
I don't know anymore. I really don't. And I'm sitting here thinking, I seen the clip of Unreal, and the ones that you catch on YouTube, the little snippets and stuff, and you hear one of the writers like, I gotta make this person such and such, and I'm looking at Triple H, and he's taking all this in, and I'm also looking at Paul Heyman. I'm like, you got Paul Heyman right there. You got Paul Heyman right there. I would rather hear Paul Heyman ideas before I hear anybody else's ideas.
The thing with Paul Heyman, if I'm TKO, if I'm Ari Emanuel, I'm walking up to Paul Heyman and I'm saying, look, we'll give you all the financial backing that you could ever need. Give me a fucking elevator pitch on how you would run WWE if we gave you the full reins to everything. And if Paul Heyman said, I don't want it, I've already been that route, I've done it, I don't want to do it, okay, you move on. Then maybe you go to The Rock and say, hey, it's your show. Go do what you need to do. But if Heyman says he wants to do it, you've already got experience running a promotion. You ran the most entertaining wrestling promotion. The only reason you went out of business is because you didn't have the money to compete with the two billionaires at the time. Nobody's going to fault you for that. You had a loyal locker room that a lot of times was wrestling for weeks on end before they got a paycheck. You managed that locker room with a bunch of guys that were roided out, coked out, heroined out, depending on what drug they were on at the time, whether it was Raven, Sandman being an alcoholic, RVD just being high on weed all the time. Didn't matter. Somebody was on something. You had to navigate all those personalities, all that ego, everything, and you still ran a successful promotion for almost 10 years. Really just came to a money situation. You didn't have the money to compete anymore. If we give you all the financial backing, what would you do with this? And if you like the 30-second elevator pitch, which I'm sure you would, because the dude's probably been thinking about it. If he wants to do it, he's already got ideas in his head, guaranteed. Oh, then you sit down for a full sit down. Give me your ideas. What would you do with this person? What would you do with this person? And just let him take over everything. And again, this is subject to, you can't force it on him. If he doesn't want to do it, he's not going to do it. But if he was willing to do it, you have somebody that has that experience, that ran every aspect of the show. Triple H only handles creative, and he's terrible at it. And all the good people that you had, the Kevin Dunns that actually handled your presentation when Raw was something that you could watch it and say, wow, this actually looks really cool. The presentation looks good. Coming down the ramp, the whole big theatrical stage, the big Jumbotron, everything. Now you have a wall of screens, and that's it. There's no spectacle to it anymore. It looks like you're watching a UFC event. Just instead of one dude walking out by himself, UFC has 50 guys walking out. Why UFC still thinks that they need to have all this armed security around their fighters when WWE's been walking out one person at a time for decades with no issue.
They must have seen the Goldberg clips from back in the day.
Like, there's no pomp or anything to WWE since TKO took over. And that was one of the first things that I'd read. We're going to streamline production. We're going to do this, which, read between the lines, we're stripping all the money out of the production of the show.
Oh, 100%. And it's just going to get worse from here on out.
Yeah.
All right.
When your biggest event isn't selling, I mean, I think you saw the same thing I did. Since they formally announced the Roman Reigns CM Punk thing, they moved 1,300 tickets the 2 nights after it was announced. They're running a 25% off special through tomorrow at Allegiant Stadium for tickets.
And remember, the promotion code for that is winter.
Like, I don't claim to be an expert on ticket sales for WrestleManias or anything, but I don't ever remember having to hear about discount codes at any time ever being used for WrestleMania tickets, or the fact that we're this close to WrestleMania and tickets are still available. Why? Because they've priced themselves out. You've priced yourself for something that people don't want to watch. You're not giving them good content to consume, and you're charging people $700 for nosebleed seats where they're not going to see 2 ants wrestling in a ring to begin with. That's all it's going to look like, is 2 little ants crawling around in the ring.
Yeah.
And you're wondering why tickets are not selling, and you're having these emergency meetings. I don't know how many times I've read in the last week they're having emergency meetings to redo the card, and all the WrestleMania plans are up in the air because tickets aren't selling. You've only formally announced like 2 matches, so it's not your card. It's the price of the tickets. Nobody wants to pay it because your content's not that good. How many times are we going to see Roman Reigns at another WrestleMania? Nobody cares. This tells me that all those cheers that you hear for Roman Reigns when he comes out, that's the piped-in crowd noise. Because if people cared about Roman Reigns this much, you wouldn't have any tickets left at this point. Doesn't matter how much they cost.
There you have it. Took the words out of my mouth. Well, that would be today's show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in, listening to me and Jamie. Remember, if you're a booker, fantasy book your WrestleMania card. We live on Facebook. Put it in the comment section. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, because we like that. And remember, if any wrestling promotion looking for a booker or a writer, DS Walking Jamie. Walking Jamie. And ladies and gentlemen, that'll be our show. And don't forget to watch your JCW, TNA, MLW. Make sure you get all your wrestling this week. It should be exciting. Unless you're watching SmackDown or Raw or Dynamite or Collision, I feel for you. That's the end of the show. Peace out. We up out of here.
Yeah. DS walk. Daredevil walk. Signature finisher. Let's go. Mic check. Fade in, red light on. DS in the chair, new day, same dawn. Got notes in the pad, got truth on deck. Ask real tight questions, put respect on the check. We break plays down, then we break them again. From the huddle to the hustle to the how we win. You can hear grind talk in the breaths we take. Every story got a scar, every scar got weight. It's that signature of finisher talk. Stand in every show with DS walk. Daredevil Jade, bring the flame, no fear. If you came for the real, park right here. It's the signature of finisher talk. Run it to the end, we don't never cut it short. Turn the volume up till the doubt disappear. If you came for the real, park right here, never drop in. Whole move, switch lanes, spin facts so sharp, cut straight through games. We don't chase bright noise, we just chase that proof. Put the mic on a mission, let the tape show truth. From the couch to the court, from the block to the board. Every guest got a journey, every play got a score. We just tie threads together, make the picture clear. Got the future in the ear, but talking right in your ear. It's that signature of finisher talk. Stand in every show with DS walk. Daredevil Jade, bring the flame, no fear. If you came for the real, park right here. It's that signature of finisher talk. Run it to the end, we don't never cut it short. Turn the volume up till the doubt disappear. If you came for the real, park right here. Then record, let it run, let it breathe, don't rush. Every pause, every laugh, every nah mean much. From the first little deal to the last recap. We the start, we the stack, yeah we close that gap. It's that signature of finisher talk. Stand in every show with DS walk. Daredevil Jade, bring the flame, no fear. If you came for the real, park right here. It's that signature of finisher talk. Run it to the end, we don't never cut it short. Turn the volume up till the doubt disappear. If you came for the real, park right here.